Hey you guys, so I tried something new recently, and it's a Diva Cup. This was recently inside of my body, and I'm gonna tell you about it. I've just been waiting for the right moment to ostracize my entire audience with unrelated content, and I feel pretty right about this being that moment. I'm gonna explain my experience using a menstrual cup, and I'm gonna answer your nitty-gritty questions. Let's do this. Here's a brief synopsis of what's been taking place in my life over the past year. I had been on birth control for an extended amount of time. I liked my birth control because I never got my period on it, and then one day, out of curiosity, I was like, perhaps I should look up the side effects of the birth control that I'm on. And then, upon my Google search, I was like, all that ails me. So I was like, okay, that's unsettling. So I decided I was gonna go off the birth control. I did end up going back on birth control, so you don't have to worry about me having a child anytime soon. I mean, I guess never say never, I don't know. But anyways, I have my period again after not having it for several years. And upon the reemergence of the Red Sea, I was like, oh wow, this is pretty miserable. And I'm on my little expedition here to try and cut down waste, and I was like, wow, I'm wasting a lot by using tampons and stuff. And also, I don't like the feeling of tampons in my body, and I don't like when you accidentally pull it out when it hasn't been in long enough, and it's like dry and shit, and it's like you're like sandpapering your vagina. This is gonna be a gruesome video, I don't know what to say. Don't worry, I'll also make sure to showcase some grotesque visual representations, not on my vagina, but on my hand. Vagina. So on my journey to lessen waste, I was like, you know what, I've been hearing about the Diva Cup for a while. Everyone loves their menstrual cup. Anybody that uses one for the most part is like, it's the best invention ever. And I was like, I'll be the judge of that. I decided to go for the Diva Cup because it's a well-known brand, you know what I mean? It's very readily available. I know a lot of people end up trying different cup brands, and I probably will as well. But let me give you my thoughts on the good old Diva Cup. So this guy cost me about $30, which is kind of expensive, but not that expensive when you realize how many tampons you go through in a lifetime, or even a month, frankly. Also, it comes in this little decorative pouch, which perhaps you could use as a Christmas ornament between cycles. I ended up getting size 0, which according to the sizing chart, I should have gotten a 1. So as far as I know, 0, 1, and 2. 0 is if you're 18 and under. 1 is if you're under 30 and haven't had a kid. And then 2 is if you're over 30 or you've had a kid, I'm pretty sure. But I looked at size 1 and I was like, dang, that looks to be a little bit much for my little cavern. So I went for size 0, and then I did extensive research because I wanted to make sure that I had a plan of attack. Also, I thought it would be a great idea to use a Diva Cup for the first time while I was on vacation at a wedding where I wouldn't be able to change it that often, and also wearing light colors. I don't know why I am this way. It doesn't appear to be changing. Okay, so there's 2 main folding methods, because I'm sure you're looking at this and being like, how do you put that inside of your body? Well, here's the thing. This is my hand vagina. You don't like this. You have to do some tricky things with it. There's 2 main fold options from what I mean, maybe you can come up with more. I am going to be running a workshop next month on menstrual cup origami. Okay, so we have the taco fold. See what I mean? See what I mean? See, I don't like this one though either. I mean, you can hold it a little bit tighter like that, but I don't like this one either because I still feel like kind of like a battering ram action that I'm not down with. And then I think this one's called the U fold, I want to call it, where you kind of like tuck in this part, you know what I mean? So it makes it even smaller to go inside the halls. Okay, so apparently I didn't get my facts straight. The first fold that I show you is not the taco fold. It's the C or the U fold, but I still think taco fold sounds fitting. The second fold is called a push down fold. So every time that I continue to say U fold, if I continue to say this, I mean the push down fold, the second fold that I show you. In light of recent events, I've decided to cancel my menstrual cup origami workshop. Thank you so much. Also, I had to boil the shit for a little bit. You like boil it, you do this whole shebang kind of thing. And I did try this on before my period, just to like give it a little go, you know what I mean? Try and get used to it before the floodgates opened, you know what I mean? And I also wanted to see what it would feel like to insert and remove on days where like maybe I'm lighter, because you know it's not nice removing tampons on days where you're lighter, and I was like, is this gonna be the same? I don't know. I didn't know what to expect, frankly. Anyways, tried the taco fold, wasn't a fan, guys. Very uncomfortable to put into my body. I just feel like this is a little bit too much like kind of surface area, because it's not like shaped like a nice peni or otherwise, but this is like a blunt force trauma type situation. I was not into it. So I liked that other fold better because it's smaller, got a little bit more of that kind of shape to it, you know? This is what's up for me personally. Just a tip, just a pro tip. It's been one period. Okay, putting it in the first time is a unique experience. It's different. You kind of gotta hold the shit open a little bit and kind of get in there. But it was easier than I thought it was going to be. They also say once you put it in to do like a full twist, a full 360 twist one way and then a full 360 twist the other way to create a seal. A lot of people were asking me how this is with nails. The twisting thing, I mean, I would love to do the whole like screw top situation to feel more secure, but with the talons it's kind of more of like a one shot, do not miss your chance to blow type gig. I was trying to grip it here, you know what I mean? Because like I couldn't really grip it here, especially with my talons. So I had to kind of grip it down here, and I was trying, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not it's not simple with nails for sure, because there was a few times where I definitely pierced my own inner skin, and it was hurtful in many ways. But anyways, the twisting situation was definitely tricky with nails, so I kind of would just try. Did I get a 360 forwards and back? Fuck no, absolutely not. I got a little bit of a like, just like the tiniest little twist ever, like just to be like, I tried, okay? I definitely was not able to get that full spin going, full cyclone. I definitely feel like towards the end of my period, I was getting a little bit better with putting it in. The first time I put it in, it was a little bit uncomfortable. I had kind of placed it down a little too low, so I could kind of feel it a little bit more, and it was really noticeable if I was sitting down and stuff. But towards the end of my cycle, I definitely felt like I could kind of pop it in there better, and I would know right away whether or not I needed to readjust it. I slept with it in every night as well, which is kind of nice about the menstrual cup situation, because you don't have to change it for like 12 hours, obviously depending on your flow and stuff like that. It was nice to just like not have to worry about it basically. There was only one night where it felt a little bit uncomfortable, because I definitely like to sleep in like some like weird situations and stuff. I'm not like a straight sleeper. I do a kind of like one of these things with like my leg up on a pillow, but it was comfortable every night. I think the one night I just didn't have it like completely popped in the right way. And then other than that, I went swimming with it in, I went into a pool and stuff like that. I was fine. Did lots of walking around. I went in a little tube and floated down a stream. Did great times. It was great. You do feel it inside, but not the way that you would think. You're like conscious that something's there kind of thing, but it's not uncomfortable. It doesn't feel like there's something really bulky in you, because the plastic, the first thing I thought when I first took it out of the packaging, I was like, oh shit, like that plastic's like really thick. I'm like, is this gonna be like super noticeable having it in your body? Like every time you bend, are you gonna feel this thing being like kind of thing? And not at all. Like you don't feel it in that way. If anything, I was more conscious because of this little tidbit at the bottom, which I think I might actually trim. I'm just frightened because of the talon situation. I can't really get my whole shit up there, you know? In terms of how it actually held my offerings, it was great. Like super surprising. I was kind of worried. I had read a few people say that like there's always leaks, whatever kind of thing. From what I gather, this is more of a sizing issue than anything, or possibly you didn't do the 360 spin, but I wasn't really able to get like my full spin going like I was talking about, and I still feel like there was only one day for like half the day, because I think I just positioned it kind of odd, where I was like leaking, but it wasn't like leaking through my clothes or anything like that. It was just more so like I would go to the washroom and I would have like a little tiny bit of spotting, but nothing major. I think the weirdest thing in comparison to this is that tampons seem like they hold a lot, but I feel like they actually hold quite a small amount, because I don't feel like I have a particularly heavy flow, but I would change my tampon like probably every 4 hours on like my first 2 days kind of thing. And then after that, maybe like every 6 hours kind of thing max. But every time I took my tampon out, especially in the first 2 days, it would look like fucking Cardi B's dress at the Met Gala. So when I first put in the Diva Cup, it was like my first day, so obviously my flow's gonna be heavier, all that kind of good shit. And I was taking that shit out constantly, and every time I took it out, I was literally like, is that all? I was so shocked by how little, because it feels like I'm probably nearing death. Like when I look at how much it looks like on a tampon versus when I looked at how little it was, I was like, oh, I've been deeply over dramatic for years about how much I'm bleeding. So I definitely feel like as I become more comfortable with wearing it, and even towards the end of my cycle, I definitely didn't find myself feeling like, ooh, I should probably take it out just to check kind of thing if it's like getting way too full. Literally not even fucking close. Never gonna happen. Like the fullest it ever got was like maybe to right there sort of thing. It was not like an issue at all. It was obviously the most like asked question of all time, and the first thing that pops into your head, and of course the first thing that popped into my head is like, how do you remove this without it looking like you just completed a sacrificial blood offering in the toilet? This made no sense in my mind. I was like, I just feel like you would be in a public bathroom and you would take this thing out and your hands would be like stained in blood and you'd look like a crazy person when you came out of the bathroom. Let me offer another demonstration because I'm sure everyone's just really enjoying this. This is my cervix. Blip. Okay, hold on. Hold on. This is my cervix, okay? We have a nice seal because we did a twisty loop-de-loop as best we could. This is the blood. Goes right inside, okay? There's no blood going on the outside because there's a seal. So this part remains unscathed. Please, join us. Anyways, that was probably an unnecessary thing to do. I could probably just have told you that blood doesn't really get on the outside of it because you have the nice seal and it's just covering it. It's not covering it, it's surrounding it. And all the blood just goes inside there. So this part stays like quite clean actually. So when you go to take it out, this is how you take it out. You have to kind of break the seal. So I would kind of just like squeeze at the very bottom of the base and then you can kind of just tip it back and forth. And then it slowly kind of starts to shift and like break the seal. When you pull it out, I don't think there was a single time where it didn't make a like kind of noise. This is the worst informational video ever. I'm so sorry. I'm probably not helping your journey to, okay. It did make a little bit of a noise. Like I feel like if I was in a public restroom, I'd probably like, as I was taking it out just to, you know, probably if I'm being realistic, I wouldn't really care if someone heard a light suctioning noise. Anyways, and then you just fucking dump it into the toilet. If you're at your home, you can go rinse it out. You can wash it with your little wash, sold separately. But in terms of cleaning it in a public restroom, some people have said that they do like carry like a water bottle with them so that they can kind of just like rinse it out in like their stall, like just fill it up with a little bit of water, do like a swivel, like a fine Merlot, and then just dump it out. Other people said that they have used baby wipes and stuff like that, but honestly, because you can wear it for so long, like this holds quite a bit, and it maybe doesn't seem like it would because of how often you have to change a tampon. But there was not once throughout my entire cycle, even on like the first day, where I had to change it in public. I could go back to my hotel room and stuff. It wasn't leaking or anything like that, except for the one day I talked about, but I think that was on the 4th day because I just like put it in weird. But it was literally never full because I was just being paranoid about it. So I kept taking it out and kept taking it out, but there was like a drop in there. So honestly, depending on your flow, you probably wouldn't have to remove it in public unless there was some kind of situation where you were in public for like a very, very, very extended amount of time. But for the most part, you probably wouldn't have to. And secondly, even if you did, it's actually not as messy as it seems like it would be. Let's just really briefly talk about pooping. It does say that you don't have to remove the cup to go number 1 or number 2. I personally prefer a roomier evacuation. This is truly where my career goes downhill. I didn't love pooping with my Diva Cup in. I'm gonna use my hands as representations for my vagina and my bum. Okay, here they are, living harmoniously, just having a great time, both allowing for various things to enter and exit. Usually not entering my bum. That's for another video. When you have the Diva Cup in, it just provides a little bit of structure to your insides. So it kind of feels more like this, you know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is it felt like it was blocking my sphincter just a touch. So personally, I just preferred to kind of just take it out just because I could. I was in my hotel room, it wasn't a problem to just quickly like rinse it and do the whole shebang. So personally, I would prefer to just take it out if I was planning on indulging in a little, you know, number 2. So all in all, by the end of my cycle, I felt good. I felt good about it. I did bring a box of like backup tampons just in case kind of thing. And I also did wear like a liner for the first couple days just because I was like so scared. I was so scared that it was just gonna like tip over like a glass of milk and then it would be like, not at all. It just didn't happen. There was literally no need to wear a liner at all. Like I said, even on the day where it was leaking a little bit, it did not leak through to like any part of my clothing. It just was a tiny, tiny little bit of spotting when I would go to the washroom and stuff like that. So I actually felt pretty happy about the experience of using the cup, and I felt like I got used to it quite quickly. A lot of people say that it usually takes like 3 or 4 cycles before you really, really get used to it, but I did feel like towards maybe like the 3rd or 4th day, I was like, yeah, I feel fine. Like I feel like I'm able to get it in and get it out quite quickly. It's not like I'm having to spend a ton of time in the bathroom or anything like that. And towards the end of my cycle, I definitely got more used to, you know, like being comfortable with the fact that it didn't need to be emptied as often as you would, you know, remove and replace a tampon. So I quite like it. I probably will try a few different brands just because there may be one that's more comfortable for me kind of thing. Like I said, the only thing that was kind of uncomfortable was this bottom part, which I could also just try trimming and then maybe it would be fine. Otherwise, I felt like it was pretty comfortable as long as I had kind of put it in there properly. Important part about insertion, you gotta relax, man. Just let it all hang loose, you know what I mean? Because there was a couple times where I was kind of like, no, this isn't happening. But you just gotta be like, it's fine. And just accept it. And it's like, I'm here for you, baby. Okay, anyways, let me answer your questions. Someone said, how on earth do you feel safe about it staying? Like I said, it does create like a suction and it does not feel like it's going anywhere. It's in there, man. How do you get it out without it causing a bloodbath? Again, literally not an issue. It doesn't get really blood around this part as much. It came out pretty clean every time. Yeah, removing with the claws and even inserting with the claws is a little bit tricky, especially the rotation, like I said. It's difficult. I think that you would have to really, really make sure that the sizing was good, especially if you were someone dealing with long nails, just because if the sizing was bad and you weren't able to kind of create that suction by twisting as much, I think it would maybe cause a little bit more leakage and shit. There were a few times where it was a little bit harder to break the suction, maybe because like I did get a little bit more of the bop it, twist and pull situation happening, but for the most part, you just kind of like take it slow, keep squishing the bottom, wiggle it around. It comes out eventually. I had a few people ask me, would it pull out an IUD because suck? I don't know. I think everyone has heard like a horror story of that happening or not. I don't have an IUD. Can't speak to that. Maybe talk to your healthcare provider. Do you think it slightly stretches you out? No, this is a myth. Neither a Diva Cup nor a too confident average wienered man will stretch you out. Okay. Is it more messy than tampons? I honestly felt like it wasn't. I never felt like I took it out and I was like, oh wow, like I would be embarrassed to go like have to wash my hands in a public space now. It was fine. Like I didn't feel like it was messier than tampons. And I do feel like overall, like I prefer it to tampons because for me, putting a tampon in, taking it out, I don't know what it is. It's just like the most uncomfortable thing in the world for me. Ugh, like just one too many times of having pulled out a too dry tampon. Oh. Someone asked, does it get easier or less painful to take it out every time? Still haven't gotten over it and it always makes me second guess using it. I definitely think, someone responded saying, do you pull it straight out or do you fold it a little bit before you pull it out? And she said, I always just pull. So definitely, I think like to break that suction a little bit, you kind of have to maneuver it. So like this person responded, trying to kind of create that fold again just by like pinching it in or pinching the bottom and kind of wiggling it around. Definitely pulling straight down, no go, man. Someone said you can use it multiple times, right? How do you sanitize them? So yeah, you can clean it. Most of the brands have their own like special wash or whatever. From what I read, they recommend to use their wash to clean it like throughout your cycle kind of thing. And then at the end, you can boil it for 5 to 10 minutes and then let it dry, put it in its little Christmas bag. Someone was asking, they said they have horrible cramps and they worry it would make it worse. I didn't feel like it made a huge difference one way or the other. I will say though, I'm probably not the best person to answer this right this second because normally I get like horrifically bad cramps. But since I've been eating more plant-based, this is so odd. Since I've been eating more plant-based, I feel like I get no like cramps, no back pain, no like PMS or whatever, which normally, look out. I am a fucking menace normally. And it's weird, but the last couple periods I've noticed that I've been like, I don't even know my period's coming because I have so little symptoms beforehand kind of thing. So odd. So I'm not sure. I didn't really have any cramps throughout my period anyways. So someone else might be able to answer that question better than I. Someone said, how long does it take you to put it in right? I did try it before my period, like the day that I had bought it, just to kind of like see how it worked kind of thing. I felt like the first time I tried it on, I was probably like in the bathroom for like maybe like 10 minutes kind of thing, just trying it out, seeing like which way was the easiest to put in, how to take it out properly. If it felt secure, I would kind of get up and walk around with it in and just kind of see so that I felt more ready to use it when I was on my period because I knew I was going to be on vacation, just judging on like my cycle timing. Someone said, is it safe to use when your period is light? From what I've read, 100% like not an issue. Some people were saying online as well that sometimes if they think their period is coming and they're like out for the day kind of thing, they'll put it in just to be safe kind of thing, even if it's like maybe 2 days away, but who knows. So that's kind of a nice thing as well, because obviously you would not do that with a tampon. As I've mentioned several times, dry tampon, it's the worst. Did you get any dryness or overall discomfort externally? No dryness to speak of. They also said, did you get any smells? No. Honestly, nothing like that. I felt like overall the experience was like far better than using a tampon. I think it's just different. Like it's really, really different. Tampons feel like super easy and quick kind of thing. And this does get quicker, but it's just such a different thing to do the first time around. So maybe if you are uncomfortable, it's worth trying a little bit before your period just to see, just because you can. A couple of people are asking how it is with exercise and stuff. I didn't exercise virtually at all, but I did swim a little bit and I did do some like light running just to see how it would feel, and like literally didn't feel it at all. Such a non-issue. But I can update you guys on that one when I actually get back in the gym. Here's one final thing I will say. I did on the 5th day get a UTI, which is pretty uncommon for me. I'm not a big UTI kind of gal. It was like a super, super chill UTI. There was like one day where it was really bad, and then literally everything else was like completely fine. Even when I went into the doctor, he was like, you have a little UTI. I have had UTIs in the past that were like misery, like constantly on the toilet, dying, like hurts so bad kind of thing. This one was not anything compared to that, but I did develop a UTI on like the 5th day of my period. I looked it up online, and apparently for some people, it sounds like it's fairly rare, but it does sound like for some people, there is a potential to be more susceptible to UTIs just because the cup, kind of like I talked about with the sphincter situation, it sounds like sometimes it can kind of press a little bit against your urethra, and it can just cause bacteria to get kind of stuck all up in the situation, because normally it can just exit freely through your pee hole, but because it is like having just a little bit of pressure on this little tiny baby area that is your urethra, sometimes people can develop UTIs more frequently because of menstrual cup usage. Anyways, not 100% sure if that's the culprit or if other things were the culprit. Hard to say. I will keep you guys updated. I will remember. Next time, I'm definitely gonna use it again. I'm gonna try it again for my next period. So I will keep you updated. I'll let you know if it's UTI round 2 or if it's just Diva Cup Madness round 2, or both. Anyways, you guys, that's my review. Probably one of the better videos I've ever uploaded. I hope you really enjoyed this. I hope I answered your questions. If I didn't, I would just be frankly delighted to answer more in the comment section. All in all, I'm giving it a 9. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I am gonna try a different flavor next time. It's not a flavor. I'm gonna try a different brand. So maybe you just tell me about your favorite types, and maybe I'll just review them all. The Diva Cup Chronicles, it's my passion. Okay, thanks so much for hanging out and watching. I will see you guys next time. Peace out. That was horrifying.